You need me to call to order right now? Okay, so I'd like to call the meeting to order. Paul?
Ms. Balahi, Ms. Blaylock is excused. Mr. Kleiss, Ms. Marlin, Mr. Miles,
Yes.
Mr. Shetty,
Here.
Ms. Welter,
Here.
Mr. Curlin.
Present.
Okay, so as far as the changes to the agenda, were there any that we'd like to make?
Is that what you want to say?
Since we don't have a quorum at the moment, we'll move on to public input. Then we'll hold the minutes over to the next meeting, and we'll review 2 sets of minutes at that point. So unless people show up, and we can go back to that. Thanks.
Okay. So seeing as there aren't any members of the public here today, we can move on then to communication.
Thanks. I have a staff report for today. The first, I think I sent it to the group, but just in case, I have a very short video to show you. Okay.
Good relapse.
I knew what you said. Thank you for shopping with us today. So I wanted to show that video. We produced that over the past couple of months with some of our grant funding to use to showcase our SNAP program at the farmers market. As you might know, we received $8,000 from Farm Credit to double value SNAP at the market. And then just as of this month, an additional almost $4,900 in SNAP double value funding for fruit and veggie purchases. And that's in addition to about $5,000 that we received the last time we met for SNAP support and administrative assistance. And that was one of the videos that we created out of that. Is there any questions about the SNAP program and what's happening with that at the market at this time? I do have to say it's been very successful, so much so that we can't keep up with demand. Sometimes it definitely is a lot of work, but well worth it, and we're seeing a lot of new faces at the market, and it's been a great program so far this season. So I look forward to reporting the numbers next time. Well, next time we meet, won't quite be done with the season yet, but it'll give us a little bit of a glimpse. Once again, the market staff are going to host a workshop for farmers market vendors and managers in Urbana coming up in November. And when registration is available, it'll be at the Illinois Farmers Market Association website. It'll be at the Crystal Lake Boathouse, and I'll get you more details when that's available. In June, I attended a series of meetings with the Farmers Market Coalition. That's a nationwide organization that supports farmers markets. It was hosted by the Green City Market, which is located in Chicago. We talked about, I guess I should say the people in attendance at that meeting included the Green City Market staff. There were market staff from Washington, D.C., the California Farmers Market Association, City of Sacramento runs a farmers market, so they had staff there as well. Market managers from the Los Angeles area, as well as back over to the East Coast in Vermont. There was also my counterpart in Aurora that runs the farmers markets for the city of Aurora. So it was a good meeting. We talked about balancing product mix, insurance for markets and for vendors, inspections, producer only, application processes, marketing, networking. It was a really great meeting. They're planning to meet regularly, and I hope I can attend if it's in our area. But I think Stan probably has some comments on nationwide trends of farmers markets, and we were talking about quite a few of those topics at this meeting as well. So it was great to hear from other markets, big budgets, lots of staff, a dedicated full-time staff person just for running the market, a director, an accountant. So it was pretty great to learn about what some of these other organizations are doing and how they're dealing with similar issues. In regards to promotional events, market staff are planning activities for August 13th. That's the day we're going to celebrate National Farmers Market Week, which is the first full week of August. It's a nationwide effort through USDA. That Saturday at the market, we'll have Art at the Market with the Urbana Public Arts Program, reading of a proclamation, and a celebrity kale eating contest. Are there any kale eaters?
Kale eating contest?
Yeah. Carrie, does this sound like something you want to sign up for?
Oh, no, but I was just curious who was going to be participating as the celebrity.
So far, we have a couple people from WCIA, Channel 3 News. We have a couple people from the radio stations and a couple of Illini athletes.
It's like a quantity thing, like hot dog eating? How much kale can you eat?
It's competitive eating,
Gosh.
healthy style. We're still determining if it's going to be quantity consumed or weight, but I think it's more for fun and show.
Sounds
I-
awful.
Bacon eating contest.
That, I
Uh,
mean,
There you go.
that, I think I'd have more people.
It's
for
bizarre,
it.
I think.
That's what we're going for. It's bizarre. There was something similar that happened last month in New York. They had a kale eating contest.
Did anybody
Um,
die?
What's that?
Did anybody die?
No, they were
Okay.
really healthy when they were done, though.
Okay.
Are we getting trophies
Will
or
there be kale
money
chip?
compensation for the winner?
There will be a trophy, a unique trophy, and all participants will get a fun shirt to wear that day.
Cool.
And it will be emceed by Michelle Ryan of Mix 94.5. So let me know if that sounds like something. It'd be great to have the Meat Man do a veggie eating competition.
You know, I've had kale one time.
Oh, one time.
But there's a trophy. Okay, we'll get back to that. In addition to National Farmers Market Week, we're also working with the Champaign Market to do a cross promotion during that week, where customers from the farmers market can check off a couple boxes on a tic-tac-toe card and Champaign. They can come to Urbana to do it, and then if you complete that card, you submit it for a chance to win a really awesome gift basket that we're putting together. So that way we can get more people out during the week in Champaign-Urbana. The market, we're also participating in a Central Illinois Eat Local Challenge to take place during the month of September. Participating markets include Springfield, Lincoln, Peoria, Riverfront, Bloomington, Champaign, and Urbana. More details on that to come, but it's through the Illinois Stewardship Alliance and Buy Fresh, Buy Local. We have a bank that's sponsoring part of it to put bags together. We'll have information and opportunities for vendors to participate. That group is meeting regularly through the Illinois Stewardship Alliance. They're the ones that are helping us to put that on, and so when I get more details, I'll pass it along to the group, but I think it'll be fun promotion for the month of September. The market is also a sponsor of the Pygmalion Food Festival. It'll take place September 16th and 17th. The festival includes restaurants including Big Grove, Bach Row, Black Dog, Maze, Farron's, and Watson Shack and Rail. The market will have a tent there to give out information about the farmers market, about local food, about market vendors, product offerings. If there's anyone that wants to participate or volunteer in the market booth, talk to customers, talk about the farmers market, we'd love to have you, and let me know. I'll give you more details on dates and times.
Where's the booth gonna be held?
It'll be in downtown Champaign, near the Accord, the parking lot, which the Accord is formerly, it used to be called the High Dive.
Oh,
So it's a Friday evening, the 16th, from 5 to 11 p.m. And then Saturday from, I believe it's either 12 to 11 or 1 to 11. I can confirm that time.
Just a week after Taste of Champagne, isn't it?
I'm not sure when Taste of Champagne is this year. I know they moved it to the fall a couple of years ago, I think. I can look, I can check.
Well, I'm going to be there. I already gave them some money. I'm just trying to remember when it was. It might be 8th, 9th, and 10th, unless I'm mixing it up with something.
I can check. In terms of programming, things are going great with Read at the Market. We had a great May for Bike to Market month. Art at the Market is still going very well, and so is Sprouts at the Market. We've also added chef demonstrations this year. In June, it was a very rainy day for Chef Jordan Balderrada, but there were still folks that came out and sampled his pasta dish. In the month of July, we had Dave Sam from Dragonfire Pizza that helped market customers create and grill their own pizzas. In August, Chef Jordan Balderrada is going to come back, hopefully with better weather, and prepare a dish. And then I believe in September, Stan had expressed interest in participating that month, so we'll follow up Stan. And I think I'm still looking for someone for the month of October. So we're planning those month to month, but they've been successful, and folks really like the chance to sample products.
Do we have to have a food sanitation permit to do that?
The farmer's market sampling certificate.
Or if I have somebody that, on staff that has that, the sanitation permit, is that good enough?
We can talk about the specifics afterwards. Yep. Farm Fresh and Fast, that's our recipe series, the cards that we release one each week that feature seasonal ingredients. We came up with 27 new recipes this season. That's been going very well. Folks come up to the info tent and grab them. The recipes cooked on TV on CI Living every Thursday at 4. It was pre-recorded today, so I could be here. And yeah. In regards to budgeting, the fiscal year 16-17 began on July 1st. It runs through June 30th of 2017. A copy of the final budget, which was approved by City Council, is available on the city website. This is the first year that the market has pretty much been a self-sufficient fund as part of the Economic Development Fund. So it's great for staff, and it's easy to read and understand. And if you have any questions on the staff report, I do have a few things at your seat. You may have noticed the first is the Travel Illinois. That is a magazine that I just received today when I attended the Visit Champaign County Board meeting. The yellow Post-it marks the Great Pumpkin Patch and the Homestead Bakery. The Homestead Bakery is a vendor at the market, so I just thought I would share this with you. The issue before this one, which was the spring-summer edition, I believe, it featured Prairie Fruits Farm and Creamery in that. And I actually received an email from the graphic designer asking for photos of Urbana's Market at the Square for an upcoming edition. So I look forward to sharing that with you. Regards to tourism, I wanted to share an event that's coming up here in Champaign-Urbana next month, August 16th and August 17th. That's the other item I left at your seat. It's called a Tourism Summit. It's hosted by Visit Champaign County. The second, or on the back side, is it kind of explains the purpose of the summit is to bring folks together that are in the hospitality industry. There's some great sessions about telling your story, about partnership, about being a brand ambassador in your community, and I really feel like the market is that. We have a lot of residents and visitors that come to visit us at the market to learn about who we are and what we do, and especially you as the vendors telling your story and connecting with this area. So if this is an event that you're interested in attending, I'd be happy to pay your fee to go. It's August 16th from 1 to 4, or August 17th from 8 to 3:30.
Is that an or is there 2 days?
It's one day. Each day is duplicate. So, yep, it's repeating the session. So the same thing that happens at 1 will happen at 8 the next day. That way we can hopefully get a lot of people in. And the 16th and 17th, I think, is a Tuesday and Wednesday. Yep. So I'll send an email out to the board. If you'd like to attend, like I said, I'd be happy to facilitate that for you. Any questions? All right. Thanks.
Okay. So do we have the presentation by Stan next then? Okay.
Wouldn't that be with, strategic plan, or you want to wait, or we want to do this?
Well, the strategic plan, that's our conversation that we're going to have about the initiatives. So if you have something you want to share, I added it as a,
Put some handouts to everybody. Anybody's been to the meeting realizes that I've been hollering about this whole thing our customer base is going down, you know, and
I don't mean to interrupt, but can you make sure your microphone is
Oh.
on, Stan? Thank you.
that I've been frustrated that the patron count's been going down over the years. And so I've been giving Natalie heat about it, obviously, in the whole group. But so I used John's chart that he was here, and it showed, and what I did is I put it in a spreadsheet here and just showed the actual numbers. And put, I think in 13, there was a survey done, and I just used $20 as the average what patron would spend, and I just put that to these numbers here, and just showed the decline, how much assets have left the market. And those of us that do this for a living, it kind of hurts. So, you know, we do take it personal, you know. I'm not blaming anybody, because as Natalie and we've discussed earlier, this has happened nationwide. So I don't know if that's a good thing or that's a bad thing. The old saying, misery loves company, but it's happening, you know, into the more mature markets, not the newer ones. Like, you can't use Champagne as an example because they've not been going long enough, but the more mature markets. So, and I did kind of an informal survey myself, calling the vendors and stuff I know around the state. 100% everyone said sales are down. So it's really happening. And, you know, my question is, what do we do? You know, I mean, we can sit and point fingers and we can do nothing. Or, you know, I see this as an opportunity as we're going through all this stuff, is maybe look at it and see, you know, come up with some ideas. I know Natalie, I got Lindsay going to talk to that guy from Small Farm Central, you know, give the keynote at your deal this spring, the market thing, and see what if he's talked to anybody about it. And then just listen to you in your report, you know, maybe talk to some of your older, bigger markets and see if they're seeing that, and if so, what are they doing? You know, I mean, what's their ideas on it? I mean, like I said, we can choose to do nothing, but as my spreadsheet shows, in 2020, there won't be a market, because your anchor vendors won't be here because they can't afford to be here. You know, they just can't. It's, you know, for me, I mean, we have a certain amount of overhead, and you just can't afford to be here. There's a lot of ideas I've got what we can do, and we can talk about all that later, but I think, like I say, it's an opportunity now that we can put something down to protect the market. I mean, it's not just me, it's the market, you know, and what that is, I don't know. But like I say, we can do nothing, or we can talk about it. Because, you know, Natalie, and this don't take personal, but you're not going to be here someday. So we don't have something on paper. The next person, this thing may go that way. So, you know, that's just my concern. Because this is my business, and I'm sure you're the same way. This is how we make our living, you know. So it does kind of get personal, you know, so. But we can talk about it or whatever. I just want to put these numbers down because, you know, I'm kind of a money cruncher, you know, so That's why I did this. Basically, the bottom parts just shows the projections. But if we continue the trend, which I see no reason the trend's changing, now the last year did come up, we had 1 or 2 more markets, which that helped. And I seriously think that recipe thing you're doing's helped. I know it's helped. So that has helped, but still, you know, we need to change the trend or do something different. So that's my story. I guess I'm sticking to it. So thanks for the time.
I have just a couple comments. I'm looking here at the attendance, and you know, we've got a high of 195,000, and this last year we're at 127. What are some thoughts on why it's dropped so much?
Can I,
Yeah, I guess I'm just
because
throwing
I've
this
been
out.
having this discussion with the vendors and other
Mhm.
market managers. What is our time on this? Can I go on or not?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Oh, I thought you was watching the
Oh,
clock.
no, there's a really weird noise coming from over here. Sorry.
Oh.
Go for it.
Well, one, things change. You know, the market's had a 25-year run, farmers markets. You know, nothing stays the same forever. So I think that has a little bit to do with it, you know? Two, and this pertains more to the Springfield market, but politics, you know, has played a big role in that town because with the budget impasse and everything, we seen the exact week when that thing went on a year ago. Our numbers went down. So that's more just Springfield, but still it is a factor. The demographics is changing a little bit. People are shopping a little bit different. CSAs, I think everybody knows what that is. You know, people are buying through buying clubs. People buy through other avenues. Now, we bring our buying club to the market because Natalie, you know, I've always tried to include people to shop the market. You know, so I want other people to, you know, so I bring them to the market when we're doing it through the market season. You've got Hy-Vee, Walmart, Country Market, all these people selling or saying they're selling local. We won't even get into that, but, you know, so you got peeling a few off there. And I'm sure there's others. That's just the ones that people I've been talking to, and that's what we've come up with, you know. I don't know. But it all matters. It all matters.
I am curious about that number from 2010. The attendance numbers that you have here, are these the ones that I report on each season?
Well, that wouldn't even be you, that would have been somebody else.
Yeah, but at the, in the binder that I provided to all the advisory board members. Yeah. I report on all the numbers since I've been here, so if there were numbers on there from before 2012.
You'd have to talk to John on that. I don't know where he got them from.
Okay. I was just curious where some of the numbers came from, because I'm not familiar with some of them, like the 2010 attendance numbers. That number is extremely
Hi.
skewed compared to all of the rest, so that, I mean, that's.
Well, I'm skeptical of all
big.
numbers. Because, well, I mean, you
Sure.
know, a market not to be mentioned, but they're counting dogs and cats and people just walking by. So, you know, they were saying figures lie and liars figure. I mean, you know,
Well, we don't allow dogs in Urbana, so
Yeah,
I know we're not
okay.
counting that.
There you
We
go.
had 2 last week.
but you know what I'm saying. You know, and I have one customer that comes in the market 4 times. So is that person, and because they
Okay,
love the
right.
market, they live close, so they walk in, they go home. They walk in because they come by, they live by my, so they come by my place 3 or 4 times a day through the market, and that's great because they're fun people. but do they get counted 4 times? And I'm not being critical. I'm
Sure.
just saying this is all the data I had to work with, and so and it doesn't really matter what number I used as far as patron dollars or what. What do they want? Do I need to? They're gonna kick me out.
Do you want to come in? Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Does Paris want to join us for the last half? Sure.
I'm not repeating all that.
That's okay. We can watch it on
But
TV.
but I don't think really like the number I used for patron dollars, or even that number, we know the trend is declining because, you know, of different things in the articles or the stories that's come out. So, you know, what do we do, I guess? You know, like I say, I'm concerned because it's my livelihood. So,
Kent, you had some other comments?
Yeah, since 2013, I've had a 14% decrease in my sales. And this year, I'm only up a couple $100 from the end of June compared to last year, end of June. So it is becoming a problem in that, one, you know, perhaps attendance, you know, kind of tapering off, except for last year. And I think that we need to either put in the application for vendors for either the next year or the year after, depending on when it can be done, on we've got a lot of vendors selling a lot of different products, and a lot of it overlaps to vendors who just sell one type of item. And from my standpoint, that's taking money away from me. I'm not growing tomatoes, and I'm not growing sweet corn, but then you have those vendors who are doing just veggies and or meat selling flowers. And I think that we need to come up with some language on the application where you have like a major and a minor item that you're selling, a category, whatever you want to call it, where if you are say a vendor like Stan who does meat, a major on his application would be a meat producer. And then he could have a minor, maybe as in sweet corn. Not that he's going to bring flowers, but the way we have it now, people can add whatever they want to their application at any time during the season and either be allowed or not allowed to bring those additional items. And I think that if we can come up with having vendors just listing two types of items, that will help vendors who just sell one type of item to be more profitable. Because, you know, my main competition is up in the Momence area, and I've chatted with him a couple times, and he's down also. So I just think if we can get something written in the applications or somewhere where we could go over it as a board, would, you know, be beneficial for all of us.
that was kind of what I meant by managing the market, and in Initiative 4, conduct an annual post-market recap on the market at the Square Advisory Board to review vendor categories and products. That was kind of my thinking there, which, you know, we talked about at the last meeting. There again, you can do nothing, or you can manage it. It makes a little more work, but you've got everything online, or, you know, that you start to manage that. Because if numbers drop and we keep increasing vendors or increasing, everybody brings everything, then nobody makes any money. You know, and as the gentleman from Small Farm Central said, you know, vendor profits equal market success. So if you got healthy vendors, your anchor vendors that bring the people, I would guess, and I have no, this is just a number that out of Stan's head, but I would guess that Kleiss and Blue Moon bring 25% of the patrons to the market, just themselves, just them two people. Just think if we lost those guys. Just think what they're bringing to the market. You know, so that concerns me. You know, if they're not, you know, and I'm not going to speak for them as far as their finances, but, you know, if they're not profitable, if it's not working for them, that's a problem.
Well,
That's
this
a
is a good lead into the new business, and if you're ready to go for talking about the market
It's all
strategic
together,
plan.
I mean, basically.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're following the agenda and staying good on your
I don't
your
follow
time
rules,
here.
so.
I had no idea. Okay, so for the new business, sorry, Carrie, I took over the mic. Picking up where we left off at our last meeting in April. In April, the advisory board began to draft a series of initiatives or action steps as a means to work towards achieving the 7 priorities that were approved at that meeting. The 7 priorities are listed on this piece of paper, the strategic plan update. As you recall, at the March 17th meeting, the board affirmed the market mission. The April 28th meeting, the board affirmed the 7 strategic priorities. So for this meeting today, the goal was to start filling in some of the steps that can be followed to reach these priorities or work towards achieving those priorities. This at the very end is a draft. It's actually it's a booklet, but I printed it off 4 per page to kind of show you how the layout's going to look, where you'll have a key priority and it'll list the initiatives underneath that. That way it's easy to read, easy to understand, easy to refer back to. Staff can use it to guide us in managing the market, and the advisory board can revisit it when we come back together at the end of the market season for that post-market recap and easily see what the priorities and initiatives are as we work towards getting ready for the 2017 season. So without further ado, unless there's any questions, I believe at the meeting last month, the only priorities where initiatives started to be filled in were 4 and 7. So I'll let you guys roll from there. I know in the binder and in the previous strategic plan was the spreadsheet that I had updated for the group. It has the goals from the old strategic plan, which have been adjusted to come up with these 7 key priorities. And then we listed the status next to it. Some of these I think may carry over, but it's your call. I'm ready to write.
Number 6, or do we have to go in order, or
You don't have to go in order.
the strategic priority was encourage a dynamic, high-quality growers market?
Yes.
You know, and that's something that we've kicked the can down the road a lot of times. I don't know the real answer to that. I do know there's some folks working on what they call Real Farmer app, and like everything's apps nowadays, and it would validate the way it works is that app, you'd have to sign up or you'd have to pay in to get in it, but anybody on that it would all connect restaurants, markets, whatever together. So those were those were real growers, or they grow their own stuff, and you get rid of some of the reselling. Because I've thought about this a lot, and I don't think we can put the burden on the market because it's too hard to figure it out. But I mean, there's reselling going on in our market right now, you know, and I think that's part, I didn't mention it, but that's part of the decline in patrons, because they know that. Patrons know that. And they're like, well, I can buy this at Walmart, you know. So, and it's happening now. It was a church group. They were selling, not produce, but fruits. And I don't know what, the guy didn't tell me what kind, but they still had the stickers on. But it was a church group. So what's that?
At Urbana?
Yes, Saturday.
They
I'm
need-
not naming names. I'm not going to get, but he says, I'm going
We
to back
have-
off because they're a church group.
I mean, we have a document that vendors can complete if they want to.
But it still had the Hy-Vee or whatever store they bought it from, the sticker on it.
Well, I mean, that's part of your role as an advisory board member and other vendors is to help staff with that.
Well, we was busy.
And we were busy. I mean, we
I
have
know, I know.
patrons falling and breaking their arm and needing to attend to fire trucks and
Okay.
sell SNAP tokens. So I'm not trying to get defensive, but
No, I
we're all in
get
this
it.
together. And we have set up the framework to initiate an investigation if that's what a vendor wants us to do. And I don't think it's snitching or telling on anybody, but If you truly believe that the decline in patron count is because the patrons think they can buy the same thing somewhere else, then bring that. I mean, I appreciate you bringing that to our attention today, but we can look into that and
Right.
follow up with that. That's important to us.
My experience in the past, because, you know, I've been doing this for quite a while, it really never pans out. Because, I mean, I've personally, like I told the story, I've been turned in at the Springfield market because the vendor didn't like me. So they did the whole inspection thing. It cost the market, it cost me a half a day of my time. It cost the market, I don't know, $200, $300, $400. I can't remember what they paid the guy. He did a thorough inspection, but it was just because the guy didn't like me. So it kind of hits home to me that, you know, that this whole thing, and you call it snitch, you know.
If
I
that
don't know.
happens, we have means to deal with that type of situation as well, and that's happened as well. But it's all about communication and being open and letting us know about these things when you see it happen. After the fact, you know, that's great, but we need to know about it, and you know that I try my best to respond as quickly as I can. We've gone out to farms before because of complaints.
Is there a blanket rule about resale of any kind of product is not acceptable in the market? So
Right.
so that should apply to arts and crafts or farmers or community groups, that they're not allowed to buy things and then resell them?
Community groups can't sell anything. They can just offer items at a suggested donation to.
Well,
We represent another farm, but, and I don't know the correct terminology of that, but it's fully labeled, it's everything, it's on our board, and I mean, we're not hiding anything.
And that
Yeah.
farm filled out an application
Right.
just as any other farm would.
Right.
And it's for a
There's
product
a name
that.
for it,
yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but if for smaller farms that can't do their own marketing and stuff, so. It's all up front. I mean, it's an issue, I don't know, I don't know, but, you know, I've, like this Real Farmer app thing, to me, you know, has legs, because folks, because you'd have a placard there, or whatever, says, okay, this farm participated in this, and the farmer would have skin in the game because he has to pay to be a part of the deal. But for like me, it would be worth it.
And that's a benefit to Urbana's market at the square?
Well, it would be, because anybody's got a placard is going to be the real farmer, you know, considered a real farmer. Same one the restaurants are using, same one, you know, like Common Ground.
And who's doing the inspections for those to ensure that the growers are the growers?
It's the organization that's the guy that's, it's Wes and I have been talking, but Wes has got, I don't know a lot of details. Wes is working on it. He's got a guy that, it's tied in with the Restaurant Association or something that's wanting to do it.
I mean, does that seem like something that the market should look into as a means for ensuring product inspection? I mean, I know that on a statewide level, the Illinois Farmers Market Association and Public Health have talked about doing statewide inspections. So if you're certified through that organization, then you know that you are the producer, and that way the markets aren't spending a lot of money on sending out their volunteers or staff to do the inspections because they have that label on there. It hasn't gained any traction because there's not money to pay that person to
Right.
do it. There isn't that person available yet, and it's a unique role to fill. So if there is an organization that's already started this and it's local, I would be interested in having a conversation with them as we move into the next year
Right.
with the feedback that I've received from you guys and from other vendors that have come in for public comment. If that's something worth looking into and making it a requirement.
Wouldn't cost you, the way I understand it, it wouldn't cost you nothing. It's some guy that's passionate about this whole thing, and he's willing to donate a lot of his time to make it happen.
Well, I'd be willing to have a conversation
But-
or to invite them to come and have a presentation to the advisory board. Maybe
Okay,
that
I'll
would be
say
a good
something to
idea.
Wes. But as far as state programs, I've read horror stories about California because they have one, and it's a disaster. So I don't know, not raining on your parade, but I don't have much confidence in state-run state-run things like that, because it just gets out of hand. So anyway, but
Well,
I think it would help the market, put it that way.
in regards to the priority number 6, it's slightly similar to what goal number 3 used to be in the previous strategic plan. So there's some items there that might carry over if that's something you guys want to look at.
Three more just for prepared foods and stuff.
Encourage a dynamic, diverse, and quality market. It's kind of similar to encourage a dynamic, high-quality growers market. No, it's not the same, but language there, but it's similar enough to where it's worth, I think, looking at those objectives and seeing if any of those would carry over as an initiative to this new key priority.
I'm done on that. What do you think, get rid of three?
No, this
I didn't understand.
this spreadsheet that's in the
I'm going by
binder.
the one you just gave us.
Correct. The next part of that sheet is to fill in initiatives
Right.
to work towards those priorities. So you mentioned key priority number 6 and not knowing what initiatives that we could fill in there. Well, I'm looking at key priority 6, which is kind of similar to the old strategic plan's goals, number 3. And there is a list of objectives there. I don't know if any of those objectives we could tinker with to move into this one.
To me, those words just sound extremely vague and general, and nobody would disagree with a goal like that. But when you try to translate it into specific or numeric kind of activity, it's way too vague to me to be really useful. And it sounds nice, but is
Yeah.
it really useful?
I want useful stuff.
Yeah.
It's helpful
Well,
as a staff person.
Everybody would like to encourage a dynamic, high-quality growers market. We probably never have an objection to that, but you talk about how to do it, exactly what that entails, then that could mean a lot of different things.
Well, one of the components of that goal in the previous plan was to pursue an optimal ratio of food to craft vendors,
How do you decide that? What's optimal?
right? I mean, this is what you guys are here for. Tell me what you think that might be.
I don't have a suggestion about that. And you have so many spaces to rent out to vendors, and it could be that there are vacancies only in one area, that you only have so many arts and crafts people and/or only so many produce people or meat people or whatever. And then the decision is already made. You've got a space, and a person from one of those categories shows up, there's nobody else there. What do you do? Say, oh, no, this is not optimal, so we don't want you. It sounds to me like the fairest thing would be for that to be a self-adjusting or self-limiting ratios or numbers, depending on where the interest is. Now, if you had a situation where you were getting 2 or 3 times the number of applicants that you had room for, then it would be easier to justify, I think, looking at some ratios or proportions or whatever, but I don't think you have that, do you? Is that the case?
Well, based on feedback that I've received from the advisory board, we've waitlisted a couple dozen vendors' applications because they had wanted to attend market with products that are already represented more than once at the farmers market. So,
Okay, I'm not talking about duplicating. I'm talking about just general categories of produce versus crafts.
Well,
Yeah.
number one, strategic priority is ensure the provision of a variety of fresh, healthy, local, high-quality foods remain a cornerstone of the market. So right there says what the priority is. That didn't say crafts, it said foods. And, you know, there's discussion amongst us food vendors that, you know, maybe there's too many crafts. I'm just saying what's the conversation. So, you know, it's not a flea market, it's a farmer's market. So, you know, there's always going to be that discussion. What that number is, I don't know. You know, I don't know. I mean, some has even said jury it out, you know, have food over here and have crafts over here. I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't know, and I don't know the answer. I'm just throwing out the comments that I've heard from different vendors that, you know, and I see it right here, number one, it says food, it didn't say crafts. So, and I think that's what did build the market to where it has been, so, you know, so take that for, you know, for whatever.
I don't know, has any kind of survey work been done to try to determine how many people arrive at the market, the attendance figures, for the purpose of buying either craft vendor stuff or other food stuff, or both?
We had a pretty extensive survey that we did as part of the strategic plan update. We put all the results in that binder that we gave to the advisory board, and a report from that as well.
But did that
The
include
customers had.
quizzing what they came for, what their purpose for coming, what they were
I
looking for?
believe so.
I mean, that, though, is pretty simple. It's just where they spend their money. You know, the bulk of their money goes towards produce. I mean, that's pretty obvious. So, I mean, you know, Robert probably makes more than all the craft people combined, you know,
Well,
in
I
the
think
whole
you have
year.
to also keep in mind that that first key priority is only a part of the mission statement, and the mission statement does encompass all the farmers and the crafts. So number one is part of it, but not all of it. So. I thought you did.
I mean, side note, are these even helpful? Do people bring them? Do you want me to store them for you and bring them back to the meetings?
I got room.
Okay. I mean, we spent a lot of time putting together all of the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
I
you said
have
you didn't
it.
have it.
I can't find the strategic, the main.
It's,
Cause see, mine was we didn't have it printed out, mine, I guess it was.
there's little tags on there, on the side, one that says, strategic plan. Sterling put those tags on, didn't you? Oh,
What's that? That's okay. You're excused. I mean, any other comments? No, we try to keep the meeting.
are you still on number 6 here?
To be honest, I don't know what number the group is on at the moment, but I
On
know
your
that it's
list, your recent
4:56,
list.
and I try to
Oh, okay.
keep you guys. I try to be aware of your schedules and timelines for the evening.
This is important to me. We're not gonna get it done in
No.
one more meeting. I
Yeah.
will invest time, no, I'm just speaking for Stan, to make sure this happens, whatever it takes. Because, you know, and I mentioned this last meeting, I said, we're not gonna get done, Natalie. 'Cause
I
this
don't
is-
expect, it took us 6 years to get to this point, so I'm not in a rush.
I seen somewhere, October was the final, somewhere, the October meeting, he was gonna wrap it up.
That was just that was a goal. I like to have goals and try to work towards them, and if that needs to be pushed back, I am happy to do that.
Okay.
Running the market is a job in and
Because
of
when I
itself.
see things in print, and I'm like, oh, we can't make that.
Well, I didn't want to leave it just open-ended and then we not ever work on it or put much care into it. But if you're committed to doing it, then we'll change the date. I'm fine with doing that. No rush, no
Okay,
pressure.
Gotcha.
It's important, and I don't want to race through it. Yep. Plus, we don't have we're missing quite a few members today, so it's important that we have their comments and feedback. That's very important.
I would love to have a food truck vendor on here before, or a representative, I mean, before we get any deeper. And I know it
Well,
takes politics,
They
but
can come and they can make comment and they can participate. They just can't vote. That's the only thing. At this point in time, it'd be an
Right.
ad hoc member of the board. So, in the meantime, if I could suggest,
Homework.
homework, talk to your friends at the market. Let them see how far you've come and what you've come up with for the affirming the market's mission, affirming the strategic priorities. Ask around for suggestions on initiatives to fill in these 7 priorities. It'd be great to get feedback from the folks that you work with and that you talk to. And like Brian said, things that are measurable. Some of these are pretty vague. And they
Right.
they look great and they sound good and they feel good, but it's that time for this group and this market to put some things on paper that we can measure and I can report back to you as a staff.
I know Kent and I have been talking to a couple of vendors, and, we was more talking about sales more than anything. Still validating that concern that sales are down, and I think everybody you talked to said the same thing. So, in our minds, we had to get to that point, I guess, first, But like I say, my fear is just of losing some of the anchor vendors because of this. If and maybe we can do nothing, I don't know, but. But yeah, I'm willing to do that.
Thank you.
Quickly to that point of being specific or having things be quantified or measurable, the use of the term cornerstone of the market, well, what's a cornerstone? How much does that amount to? What does it mean? When does it stop being a cornerstone? It just, there's no, everybody's idea of a cornerstone may be different. Like I say, it sounds good, but when it comes to actually being a part of a policy that would guide you, Natalie, in making a decision about someone, I don't see anything concrete to go by there.
That'd be an initiative, though, what we put below it. Because like on 4 and 7, we've got some initiatives already down on what we need to do. Like I mentioned earlier, on 4, you don't have a dash on it, but it's the second initiative on 4-2 for lack of a better number. Conduct an annual post-market recap of the market and advisory at the Square Advisory Board to review vendor categories and products. That was that, and Kent and I was talking about this, that was to try to manage the market a little bit better, and see what's out there and say we do have too many, peach growers. And I think I mentioned, we need more strawberry growers. That's
You guys
obvious.
are tough on those peach growers.
Pardon?
I said you guys are tough on those peach growers. You always
I'm
use
just
them as
using,
an
okay,
example.
meat vendors, I'll use me again. We had too many, but it's, so that was a way for us to sit down, and that's why I don't like to exclude crafts, because you're part of the market. Sit down, say, or Dave, because we had this discussion after the last meeting, and Dave says, it's a free market, let it go. I said, well, we bring in 3 more pizza trucks, then how you feel about it? He shut up. Because when it affects your own backyard, and it's obvious, he wouldn't make no money. So I think that's our job as an advisory. We advise Natalie, okay, and how do you trust us? Well, I hope you can. That we're not just protecting our own backyard, but, a little common sense, we don't need 3 pizza trucks. One service in the market. And so, and I think you've got a diverse mix of food trucks, so none really, they all cross over because they're selling prepared foods, but I don't see them copying each. So I think you did a great job there.
That was based on feedback from this group. The way we've managed and coordinated the food trucks at the market
I
this
don't
year.
remember that one. But anyway, it's good. It's working. But
It's been tough,
yeah.
and Sterling
And
can attest to
nothing
that.
worthwhile is going to be easy, Natalie.
Oh, it has been a very difficult change, adjustment, transition in how we have approved that vendor category for this season. It's been a big adjustment.
Because there's some food vendors, like produce and all that, they don't want to see them here because they are taking dollars away from the market. See, and I kind of disagree on that. They are, but they're still bringing people. So,
And the customer feedback is positive.
great.
in that
Oh, yeah.
aspect.
Because that's the trend. That's hot right now, food trucks. But, it's a known fact. A patron brings, say, $20 or whatever to the market. If he spends 10 at the food truck, he's only got 10 left. So that's a no-brainer. And that's a fact because we've seen that over the years. And I don't have a survey to prove that. I just know it. So you have to take my word on that. But so but I still think the benefits of having that food truck there outweighs him taking money out of my pocket or somebody else's pocket. So, you know, that's my feeling on that. But I think as an advisory, that's how I see our role, is to help you manage that, you know, and, because I know when I get too many meat vendors there, I know, because that's my deal. But I can also walk around and see you don't have enough strawberry vendors, because I can see they're selling out at 10 o'clock. Some of that's production. It was a bad spring again, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
You know, it's pretty easy for us on the ground to see this thing, and if I'm selling, if I'm in the, whatever you call strawberry fruits or whatever, you know, you're gonna know if we have somebody in that category, you know, hopefully that they'll be aware of what's going on. It's like, Kent knows what's going on in his line of work, I guarantee you that.
Yep.
So,
So now it's working on ways to craft some
Exactly,
initiatives
exactly.
to put on there that will help lead us into the future. And it's time to work on that as a market. Things
and I
have,
appreciate that.
yep.
So do we need to have another meeting to discuss some of these items like we're discussing today before October?
I mean, it's up to the group. If you want to meet between now and then, my concern with meeting more often during the season is that it's during the season, and I think we have a few board members that were in the field today and are busy, and moving into October, are things gonna pick up in August and September? I mean, it's your call. If the advisory board wants to call a meeting between now and then just to work on those initiatives, that's fine, or we can dedicate that full meeting in October to that topic. Like I said, we're not in a rush. So,
No, but I want to make progress, and I don't
Right.
feel like we've made much progress.
Well-
Oh, I guess we have, because we got this on the table. But I'm kind of, you know, when I do things at home with my group, you know, let's get it on paper, then let's beat it up. So is there a way, you know what I'm saying? Because until you get something down, so is there a way of, you know, we have something sent to us by email, whatever, and we do our poll with the other vendors and stuff, you know, and we write stuff down, and then, so you got something to start with when we get here. And we say, no, that's not, am I making sense, or is that?
well, I mean,
I think that's what we have in front of us right now, though. So what
But
what
there's
she
blanks,
needs
there's
from-
nothing on it, though.
Right, that's because we're supposed to brainstorm and give her the ideas so she can work off of that.
do you
But
want
we
me to
didn't do that
send-
today,
do you
so.
want- Yeah, I know, we got a late start on that. For example, if
Give me a homework.
your homework is to start filling in the blanks with initiatives that you think are relevant in working towards achieving those priorities.
But we need to bring them to the next meeting,
Yes,
Yes,
bring them to the next
Right.
meeting. Yep,
or otherwise we'll be the next meeting the same thing.
exactly.
yep,
Thank you.
no problem.
Good. I guess I was going to ask, if I could ask food trucks, but I guess I can ask anybody.
Yes,
Right, okay.
anybody and everybody.
What's the schedule as far as, do we have people in the food trucks applying for that spot, or how does that work as far as getting them part of the advisory board?
We don't have any applications yet because the ordinance that created the board didn't include them.
Okay.
So, trying to find an example of an ordinance where they have added a specific board member. This is a very unique board for the city. To my knowledge, there isn't another board where you don't have to be an Urbana resident, and they don't have requirements of filling 4 number of spots for this, 1 for that, 1 for that, 1 for that. And with the season starting, it's been busy running the market. My apologies.
I just didn't know what the procedure or the track is to
Yeah.
get with someone aboard.
Yeah, I have to submit a drafted amendment to an ordinance to the clerk, then it goes in front of city council at a committee of the whole meeting, then they go back to it the following week at a council meeting in order to approve it. I usually go and give a presentation. I've done that once so far this season to accept the SNAP double value. I go back again this Monday to accept the additional SNAP double value and to adjust our market budget. Because of grant reporting, we've had to shift some funds from one line item to another for grant reporting purposes. So
Okay. Is that
it's a
something
process, but yeah.
we can have by the October meeting then?
I'll give it a good try.
Okay.
Deadlines. I got a poster on my office, deadlines to make shit happen. Hey, one real quick then. Can you reach out to Shay and Robert with their homework assignment so it don't come from Kent and I?
You don't want to sign them homework?
No.
Okay,
But it's more
yes.
official if it comes, because you're.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Yep. Also, is there a possibility that the board would care to adjust the day or time of the meeting? I know we're missing a few folks here, and there's also another market that some vendors attend on other days of the week, but is that something?
We probably should, because we're missing Paris.
Yes.
Thank you. No, my board meeting occurs on the exact same day and pretty much the same time as this board meeting. So it's really difficult for me to attend, and I would love to be able to attend.
Would another Thursday of the month be?
Yeah.
So, I mean, is Thursday a good
Thursday-
day of the
Thursdays,
week?
Thursdays are
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Easiest for me.
Yeah,
There's no,
different
there's no
Thursday would be
markets that
completely
day,
fine.
so.
So we're at the fourth Thursday of the month. Would the group want to try for the third Thursday of the month?
Sure.
Okay. Is there any objections with those who are here?
But
I'll-
you can't do them, can we?
Pardon?
We can't vote on it.
I don't think it's a voting. I don't think we have to vote to change the meeting date. I just need to confirm that this room is available on the third Thursday of the month, confirm it with the clerk, and then obviously make sure Bob, Shay, Diane are all okay with it. So when we had to change this meeting date because of the conflicted with the Champagne Market date, we didn't have to get a vote for that. It was just making sure everyone's schedules worked out for that. All right. I will
Awesome, I appreciate it.
confirm by email with the homework assignment and the next meeting date.
And one more ask. Could you send out like a form? I'm a simple farmer, just that makes it easiest to write things down. Like, because here it's all on one page, but you know, like we got some line items, we can write it down. I mean, I don't know, just to make it easier. It's like when you do things, if it's easier, it's gonna be done. If it's not, it's not. I don't know.
Sure.
I'll make it happen anyway, but I mean, just saying, you know, whatever.
Yes.
It looks more official when I'm handing it to somebody, instead of my little scribbling, it looks more official. I said, well, what do you think about this?
Okay.
So,
My pleasure.
it's got your header on.
Okay.
You think I'm stupid, but
No.
it matters.
I did not say that.
But I mean, these little things, because, you know, if it's
Yes.
just me, they're gonna think, because I stir the pot sometimes, not that you know that, but anyway. But if it's got your header on and everything, they're gonna think, okay, yeah, this is a real deal.
Yep. We can do that.
Were
Thank
there any announcements? Doesn't sound like it. Okay, so call to adjourn the meeting.
Also move. Second.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
5:12. Thank you.